Hi everyone, welcome back. I hope you guys are having a great day today. I wanted to show you today some of my containers and my pots where I have combined some of my succulents. I know sometimes it's kind of confusing getting started and knowing exactly what to do, but I wanted to share this video with you guys to give you some ideas. And here you're seeing pots that I've had in the past that I've combined together. And there's several things that will determine what you are going to be potting together, and that again is what type of plant it is. If it has the same sunlight requirements and the same water requirements, that is the most important part. But also combining them, you want to make sure that you have a cohesion or an element that makes them go together and completes your arrangement in a way that it is very pleasing to the eye. Here you're seeing this pot that I've potted several times. I love this ceramic square pot, and yeah, the cat's tail doesn't come with the pot. It's not part of the pot, but I've used this pot several times to do several arrangements in it, and sometimes I've just had it with a bunch of elephant bush in there, and that's just great. If you just want to put one plant in there, it makes a statement. But combining a lot of different plants makes it so beautiful. And here you're seeing how beautiful the Lampranthus looks hanging over the side, and this is an arrangement that's going to look good from every view. It's kind of an arrangement that you do in a round pot. And that's another consideration that you want to think about, is if you're going to be viewing this arrangement from all sides. If it's a 360 arrangement, you want to make sure that it looks beautiful from every angle. So here you're seeing the same pot that I have planted in the past. This was like a year and a half ago, and I had my Cielo Echeveria. Look at that gorgeous Echeveria as the main focal point. And I put some chocolate fingers and some Gibbiphora. And again, this one is meant to be seen from all angles. So what I would do is I would rotate it. At one point it was on this just pedestal of rocks, but I did go ahead and put it on the table eventually, and I wanted it to be viewed from all angles. So it was gorgeous from all angles, and that is definitely something that you want to consider when you're potting a combination of plants. So here you're seeing the Gibbiphora as the focal point, and it still looks gorgeous. And then you have other plants that tie them in together and complement them. Yeah, so here you're seeing another arrangement. Is just a basic, beautiful focal point surrounded by the same type of plant. I mean, it could be any plant. In this case, I chose the mini chalk sticks so that it could spill over eventually and just fill in and look beautiful, kind of like a wreath with a beautiful center focal point. But this nobile grows massive, so we'll see how this one works out. But it's doing great, and it's a beautiful arrangement to use again in a round environment where you can view it from all angles, and it'll look gorgeous and beautiful from all angles. So definitely there's no doing wrong with this one, and it's just involves two plants, your main focal point and your filler and spiller at the same time that goes over the sides, and it just makes it a gorgeous, gorgeous arrangement. Okay, so here we're going to go look at my table where I have some of my recently planted and started pots, and I have several little combinations here of plants that I took out of other planters that I combined together. And here you're looking at some aloes and just a combination of plants. And just again, remember, they have to have the same temperament, the same sun requirement, and the same water requirement and temperature, of course. And here you're looking at the little pot I put together with all the cuttings that I had in my little cutting area. and it just turned out beautiful. It's doing great. A lot of them have opened up. The only one that wasn't cutting was the aeonium, but everything else was just snips that I took off of other plants, and I let it root, and then I put them in here, and they are just thriving. Here you're looking at some opuntias that I cut for my mother-in-law. I'm going to go ahead and callus those and give them to her so she can pot them in the ground. And let me see. Let's go ahead and look at my other pots here that I have combined. And here we have this beautiful arrangement that is just made out of the topsy-turvy Echeverias. And it's starting to do what I wanted. It's starting to spill over a bit, and they are just doing great. I do have to go ahead and clean them up with my long tweezers because they have some dead leaves at the bottom because they have grown so much. But just even if you don't want to use two plants, you can use some type of a focal point for the center, and it'll make a beautiful arrangement. Here you're looking at the Lampranthus combined with a Cotyledon and some Aeoniums, and it's great. This is another square little pot, and it's doing beautifully. This one became a combination on its own. Sedum just gets everywhere, and I must have used soil that had a little bit of the sedum root because it just came back, and it looks great with the string of bananas. One of my favorite combination pots, and I really have to tweak it this year because some of the plants are overgrown. I haven't wanted to because I just love the way it looks. It's so colorful and so beautiful. This aeonium was a little cutting, and it had no root, and it's taking off. I can see the center starting to bloom, but here you're looking at the elephant bush, and look at the trunk on this. Yeah, this one was just a little cutting that I stuck in here, and it has grown so much. So this one I definitely will be pulling out and putting it somewhere else. And look at the center of this one. I wanted to show you this Gibiflora, and it is a beautiful cristata, and it's just in a round necklace shape. And it's planted in a pot to give it a little bit of a height in my bird bath. So I'm just going to go ahead and remove that pot, and it needs to be potted in a bigger pot already because it is huge. When I put it in here, it was very little, and it needs to be repotted, but I don't want to mess with it because it's so beautiful. But sometimes we have to. Here you're looking at the pot, and yeah, this bird bath has evolved. It evolves every year. So look at my chicks and hens back here. It has several chicks and hens, and that have been doing great. Pretty much the chicks and hens, just ignore them and they'll do great. Don't overwater them because they will rot. And yeah, here you're seeing when I initially planted this bird bath, this is what it looked like. I had some beautiful string of bananas flowing from the front. And if you can see, the little Gibiflora in the center was that small. And you can see the elephant bush, it was tiny. Here, this is the size that it was. And it has just grown so much in, I'd say a year. So yeah, I think it deserves to be repotted before we start the hot weather. I probably will do that next week. Okay, let's go ahead and look on my this is my south side garden. And I wanted to show you the one that I had potted in the fountain that I used to have. I made it into a planter. And this one I did put a bunch of the elephant bush here, the Portulacaria afra, and the variegated. And I wanted to show you the variegated ones. The afra did have, the regular one had root, but the variegated one, the one that's a little yellow and brown, that one had no root, and it's doing great. It just took off, and I guess it likes it here, so I can't wait till that one spills over, and I think it'll look beautiful. Yeah, so I have other combinations of little cacti here in this side, and I wanted to show you this beautiful arrangement that I had in the past. Remember, these arrangements will be temporary because if you put, for example, if it was all cacti, they would grow kind of at the same rate. But here I combine cacti and succulents, and the succulents definitely will grow more, and you will have to repot and revamp something like this. But in the meantime, your combinations are beautiful and you will enjoy them like for a year. And after a year, you might have to tweak them. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for subscribing, and welcome to all the new subscribers. Have a great day. I will talk to you guys later.